Hello, hello. All right. Welcome, guys, to another conversation lesson. Let me open our Ingu website that we always use. And let's see which article shall we read today. Let's see. Survey finds what makes you a good member of society. Well, let's see what makes us good members of society. Okay, we're going to make this bigger. We'll start off with the vocabulary as always. Again, I'm going to read through it. I'd like you to hit pause after each word or after each definition. You read it out loud. Make sure you got the pronunciation down. Also, you can, if you're not sure about the meaning, you can type the word somewhat meaning into Google and they'll give you all the different contexts that you can use it in. All right. So let's start. Somewhat. To a moderate extent or by a moderate amount. The meeting was somewhat longer than usual, but overall very productive. Next one, vaccine, a substance that helps protect against a disease. Tests have shown the vaccine to be 90% effective. Demonstration, an event where people protest against something. The March on Washington in 1963 was one of the largest demonstrations in US history. Next one, regularly, often or usually. Around 35% of Americans attend church regularly, according to a recent survey. Then we've got service, a religious ceremony. The funeral service was short but very moving. Okay. So again, like I say, the service here, this is the meaning in the context of the article we're going to read. Obviously, we can use service in different ways. So if you want to know the other meanings, you can type in service meaning into Google, and they'll show you all the ways we can use service. So let's go to the article. Again, I'm going to read the whole article. I'd like you to stop after each sentence or after each line, read it, make sure you got the pronunciation down, read it out loud, and then we'll go to the questions. Also, if you want to wait till the end, you can do that too and read the whole article. But please do read it. Say the words. The more you speak, the more you, even if you're reading, you're still making the sounds and you're still getting used to becoming more natural with that. So, survey finds what makes you a good member of society. Have you ever thought about what makes someone a good member of society? The Pew Research Center has been asking people to find out what they think. In most of the 19 countries where Pew did the survey, voting in elections and making choices that reduce the effects of climate change were seen as very important. On average, 73% of people said voting was very important, and 63 said the same about helping the environment. In total, more than 24,500 people were asked about 7 different things they could do to be a good member of society. For each, they had to say whether they thought it was very important, somewhat important, not too important, or not important at all. Okay, then we can come back to this. Let's read further. In 14 countries, including the US, South Korea, and France, voting was seen as the most important thing. But in Spain, Italy, and Belgium, climate change was most important. On average, 57% of people surveyed thought getting a coronavirus vaccine was very important. In Singapore, 72% thought this, making it the top answer there. But that figure was only 33% in Poland, 40% in Hungary, and 41% in South Korea. And in Japan, the top answer, chosen by 74%, was following what is happening in politics in their own country. The survey also asked about the importance of following events in other countries, taking part in demonstrations, and regularly going to religious services. These things were not, thought to be so important. And on average, only 16% of people, including just 4% in Japan, said going to religious services was very important in making someone a good member of society. Okay, and let's see how important are these things to be a good member of society. Voting in elections, very important. 18, not at all. making choices that reduce climate change. All right, 63, 28, 17, 3. Following events in other countries, following politics in your country, getting a coronavirus vaccine, joining demonstrations on important issues, and regularly going to religious services. Okay. All right, well, let's go and look at the questions. We've got 3 questions again related to the article. I hope there's no numbers, otherwise I'm going to be terrible. But I'm going to read the question. I'd like you to answer it from what you remembered, and then I'll try and answer them, and then we'll go look at the answers. When it gets to numbers, usually I'm not that good. Well, let's see. Number 1, what percentage of participants said voting was very important? You remember? What was voting seen as the most important thing to be a good member of society in Italy? What was seen as most important in Japan? Oh dear. I'm not going to do good with this one. All right. So, did you get the answers? What percentage of participants said voting was very important? It was kind of high, right? 43%. I'm going with 43. I'm very probably wrong. Was voting seen as the most important thing to be a good member of society in Italy? No. I want to say no. What was seen as most important in Japan? A short-term memory, guys. Terrible. Most important in Japan. Knowing about politics in your own country? Let's see. All right. Percentage of participants said voting was important. What voting? Ooh, 73%. Is that the one, right? Yeah, 73. I was way off. Goodness me. All right. In Italy, was voting seen as the most important in Italy? I don't think so, right? 14 countries, voting was seen as the most important. But in Spain, Italy, and Belgium, climate change was the most important in Italy. Okay, so I got one. What was seen most important in Japan? And Japan, top answer, following what's happening in politics in their own country. Yes, I got 2 out of 3. How much did you get? Okay, well, let's go to the discussion questions. Number 1, what are your thoughts on Pew's findings? I guess I'm not a good member of society. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah, I see some of the questions. I'll talk about that later. Interesting. I guess it's interesting, and see that it's interesting that it's different all around the world. A lot of countries have similarities, but there's also differences. Some countries view some things more important than others. So interesting. What do you think makes someone a good member of society? I think doing your best to make where you live better. Contributing to the local economy, being a good citizen, abiding by the rules and laws, and helping your fellow man. That's what I think makes you a good member of society. Do you regularly vote in elections? I have never voted in my life. Some people probably don't like this answer. I don't care. I've never voted. I wanted to vote. They had the elections the year that I turned 18, and I was still in high school. And the elections were before my birthday, so I wasn't allowed to vote. Some of the students were allowed. I wasn't allowed. So I was like, I was so upset because they could actually have a day off from school to go vote. And I was upset that I had to go to school. So after that, I just never voted. I didn't care about that. It's not, this is what I do and the way that I live, but obviously not everybody can do that, because then nobody's going to vote. But for me, I feel how can I say this? Like in my country, the country the government that's in charge is doing a terrible job, and they they in control by such a large margin that a few votes here or there is not going to make a difference. So that's why I just never felt compelled to vote, because they always win by 70%. Um, and they're doing a terrible job. So that's why I left my country as well, because if I'm surrounded by people that has that kind of mindset that put people in charge, that is just terrible. Why do I want to be surrounded by these people? Go somewhere where I'm surrounded by people that has a mindset. So yeah, I just never felt it necessary to vote. And if I don't like the place that I live in, if it's not run well, if it's not, you know, a good society, then why stay there? Why live there? So that's why I'm in Thailand. Yeah, that's why I don't vote. Number four, do you try to make choices that reduce your effect on climate change? Again, I mean, I don't ride a bicycle, or I don't use public transport to try and save the environment. I don't use plastics unnecessary. If I go to the shop and they want to give me a plastic bag for items I can just hold in my hand, I say no thanks. If they want to give me straws, I'm like, no, I don't need a straw because I just throw it away anyway. So I do that, but it's not like I go out of my way to, do all sorts of crazy things. How closely do you follow politics in your country? Do you follow global events? Yeah, because I'm still interested in what's happening in my country and it's a nightmare. So I I don't follow it closely, but I still follow it enough to know that it's in a downward spiral. And like I say, the majority of the people still vote for the government that's in charge, and they've been in charge for 20 years, and it's been, or no, close to 30 years now. Yeah, almost 30 years, and it's just going downwards. So I'll keep an eye when things get better, when they realize that, or when the mindset changes, then maybe one day I'll go back, but no, not now, not soon. And global events, yeah, kind of, but not in detail. Further discussion. Which of your friends or family is the most interested in politics? I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm not that interested, so I don't really follow other people who are interested in politics. Who are the most environmentally conscious people you know? I don't know. Um, Again, people don't, being environmentally conscious is not like, it's not like being a vegan. It's not like people say like, oh, I'm this, I do this. People just do it, and a lot of times you might not even notice it. So I don't know. Have there been any major demonstrations in your country recently? In Thailand, they have sometimes demonstrations about government things, but again, they've got the yellow and the red shirts, but I don't follow it too closely. Um, no interest in that. And in South Africa, I don't know. It's a nightmare. Is it common for people to regularly attend religious services where you live? In Thailand, yeah, a lot of people go to Buddhist ceremonies. My mother-in-law, she always goes to the temple and do all sorts of things. And yeah, in Thailand, it's a Buddhist country, and you'll find a lot of, especially in Chiang Mai, there was a lot of temples, and people did a lot of things for that. You'll see the monks walking in the streets in the morning, collecting food and stuff for their religious duties. Um, Not so much here in Phuket. Phuket's more of a Muslim area. don't see that many Buddhist temples. And I mean, the Muslims, though, they go to church, what's it, 4 or 5 times a day. So I suppose that's a lot of services they attend. In South Africa, mainly a Christian country, and people still go to church on Sundays quite a lot. Yeah. Number 5, have you ever done any volunteer or community work? Yes, I have done quite a bit. Actually, before I came to Thailand, I went to one of the rural areas in South Africa, and I did a lot of work there with young children. And yeah, we did quite a bit. I actually did that full time, just helping and trying to improve a certain area. Um, yeah, still have contact with some of the kids on Facebook that I met there. That was very nice. And then when I came here in Thailand, they had floods the first year, and we went out with little boats to try and help some of the people, did some work there, but not anything recently. I haven't, it's been quite a while. All right. Well, that's it then, guys. That's everything. So let me stop it over there. I thought they'd have more questions about for me, being a good member of society is a little different than just having interest in politics or having, voting, or it's just, for me, it's more about being a good person, doing things in your local community, being a friendly neighbor, being respectable, like I say, helping the local economy, buying from a local little shop, or just trying to improve your surroundings, and then your surroundings will improve their surroundings, and it will have this ripple effect. So anyway, seeing people have different views. If you have a different view, let me know. If you hate me not voting, let me know. I'm open to any criticism. All right. Have a good evening. Keep practicing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.